another edition of Marauders. First things first, hit that subscribe button down below, like, comment, share. Let's dive into it. So today there was the town hall meeting for Taronis Technology. It was a pretty interesting town hall. If we look at the stock right now, it's currently at $1, and we're going to discuss more about it. It's below its moving average 50 and below its moving average 200. Its moving average 50 is 121 and its moving average 200 is 183. So being at $1, it's way below that price. So if we look at another chart, uh, we can see that it does have the sale. That's what they're ranking it as. But we look at their 5-day chart. There's a lot of fluctuation. It rallied quite a bit right before the town hall meeting today, and it was pretty interesting. There were a lot of updates that came from the town hall, so let's just go on and dive into it. Okay, so this is the summary of the town hall for the shareholders. I listened to it earlier. There were a lot of good questions that came from the town hall. A couple of people were, concerned about their fuel shares, and those are pretty good concerns. They're wondering when they're going to be tradable. Some people on the call didn't seem like they knew what they were talking about because they said their shares haven't been distributed to them. But everyone should have their shares in their account. They're just not tradable at the moment. Um, when asked that question, Scott Mahoney seemed to say, there was a lot going on with the company, and they had just recently filed the last paperwork that they needed for their filing. So he said that it'll be probably about 3 to 10 days or a couple of days before that comes out. So, for you guys out there who are looking for the shares to be tradable, I would say probably sometime next week or probably the week after. Seem to be the time frame when he said they'll get back and they'll be able to be tradable. So let's dive into some of the highlights from the town hall meeting, not the press release. So it says Taronis Fuels generated a record fourth quarter unaudited preliminary revenues of 11 million compared to 2 million revenues in the fourth quarter of 2018. So, you know, they've gained quite a bit. I think a lot of that is probably due to the turkey deal. Um, they had that moving forward. They had a lot of other deals. I know, like some in California, and they have the Texas ones, and I think there's some in Amsterdam. So all those contributed to that $11 million in revenue, which was the increase from 2 million previously. And then more Taronis Fuels news. Taronis Fuels generated record annual unaudited preliminary of revenues of 27 million, including the acceleration of 0.9 million consulting contract with the accrued deposit for 4.7 million under a 5-unit purchase sale. This represents a significant increase when compared to 9.7 million in the sales reported in 2018. So I think this part directly touches on the turkey deal. They're supposed to be getting royalties from that. And you know, 27 million is definitely a large increase from the 9.7 million from the year prior. So Taronis Fuels projects to generate in excess of 50 million in revenue, scalable EBITDA in 2020 based on 100% organic growth. So basically, they mean it's going to grow organically. They have a lot of strategic moves that they were doing, and more on the fuel side as well. Fuels projects to allocate a portion of free cash flow to common stock buyers, stock buybacks, and cash dividends. So Scott was very adamant about buying back shares. I think they said they started already buying back some shares. He said if they have a really good product, and if it came down to it, he would buy back all the shares and take the company private. So he's pretty serious about the company. He also compared it to other companies. I can't remember the names of those companies, didn't write them down, but he said those were $10 billion a year companies, and he feels like the company has the potential to be that or even better. Um, as you all know or may not know, in Turkey they are using acetylene for their number one gas source. So you know it's going to grow just in a matter of time. It's going to grow, just not quick growth. So going into more Taronis Fuels news, uh, Taronis has cleared all Security Exchange Commission open items related to the spinoff process. So that was the basically the main weight that people were waiting on, is like, why are these shares not tradable? They had some more things that they had to do to clear the SEC process, and he explained earlier, they finished all their paperwork, so that's why he gave that time frame of a couple of days. So I'd say a couple of weeks, but they'll be coming soon, and it was good to hear an update on them being distributed, because I know a lot of people are like, when am I going to get my shares? When am I going to get my shares? And when are they going to be tradable? So everyone should have their shares. They should be in their account with the amount that they have. Being tradable is another thing, but that's coming soon. So next item, Taronis Fuels is now focused on completing the open items related to the listing process with the remaining regulatory bodies, with the desired goal to complete the process in the immediate term. Taronis Fuels is still fully focused on track to proceed potential uplisting application to a national exchange. And then Taronis Technologies continues to support long-term share buyback plan in the event Turkish $165 million contract is fully executed. An increasing proportion of free cash flow would be allocated to a corporate share buyback program. So basically what I said earlier, just in the statements. So Taronis Technologies has some subsidiaries. So there's Taronis Fuels, uh, which is under the Taronis Technology umbrella. There's Taronis Water, and there's the Water Pilot. Taronis Water and the Water Pilot are two completely separate entities, and Taronis Health. So there's Taronis Water, Taronis Health, the Water Pilot, Taronis Fuels, and then Taronis Technologies itself. So these are basically explaining subsidiaries which are fall under that category. So Taronis Water is a wholly owned subsidiary of Taronis Technology, made meaningful progress on strategic relationship with one of the largest global hog producers to positively impact North Carolina hog waste issue. A second global leader has been identified for potential parallel collaboration in additional U.S. markets. So basically explaining, they're growing that process. Taronis Water is to deliver final USDA presentation in Washington, D.C. on February 12th, create a path to potential additional USDA grant opportunities. So that's always a good thing. Taronis Water intend to build up to three 300 kilowatt Venturi plasma arc sterilization units to support multiple potential projects within the annual waste sterilization industry. So that's always good for the water pilot. It says water pilot successfully completed its next generation valve technology and will submit provisional patents in the near term. The water pilot has accumulated $200,000 current sale backlog for January, multi-million-dollar soft backlog. A proposal submitted to prospective clients under expanded marketing program with multiple new sales channels. Water pilot forecast to excess of $2 million in sales for 2020. So there are all these little pieces of this company, um, that are basically saying they're going to be profitable. Now, how that affects the whole company, I don't know. Just from an opinion point of view, it seems like they're kind of spreading themselves thin, having a Taronis Water and a water pilot, and then having fuels, and now having Taronis Health. Uh, a lot of divisions in this one company. I think they should focus on one because if you can get shareholders to believe in one, then slowly expand. But it seems like they're kind of rapidly expanding in a lot of different directions, which they probably have a pretty good plan for that. But just being an investor myself, I kind of don't see the overall purpose for so many different subsidiaries, especially when their current stock price is only at a dollar. So you know, me personally, I would want to get more um, buy-in from shareholders and more confidence that I could grow the technologies and the fuels instead of telling people that I'm going to grow all these other different sections because you know it's kind of confusing for some investors, and it's kind of like do I want do I want the company to do well in all these sectors? Yes, because it makes the whole company grow. But you know, some people may not feel like the health department or health sector is the best path for the company, or some people may feel like um, you know moving all these different moving parts are not good for the company. Um, just an opinion. Taronis Health has acquired 20% stake in Taurus Therapeutics, an immuno-oncology biotechnology company developing new drugs that target immunosuppressive adenosine and the tumor and TME for the treatment resistant cancer. Taronis Health also owns an additional warrant to acquire an additional 13.3% of Taurus up until IPO. Taurus is actively preparing for an IPO as early as before year end 2020. So it seems like they're taking stake in a company that hasn't IPO'd yet, that hasn't gone public. So it seems like they're going to be partners. They have a 20% stake, and then they're trying to acquire an additional 13.3%. So that'll leave them at 33.3% of this one company in the health sector. So they're not 100% invested in this, but 33% is a pretty large percent to be involved in a company that hasn't IPO'd yet, and is kind of new to investors. Um, you know, I think it's kind of like three different divisions of the company so far. So there's the water side, which is water pilot and um, Taronis Waters, and now there's Taronis Health, and then there's Taronis Fuels. I'm interested to see more of what Taronis Health has to offer and what this Taurus Therapeutics company can do, and what things they have done. I haven't really researched that company, so I don't know what they do besides just this. So it's interesting to see the company growing and all the different avenues that they're taking to grow their whole company. It may be a good path moving forward, but I just want to see what they have started to grow and to see the share price continue to grow. And it may help them in the long run, or it may hurt them. Who knows? You can't really tell the future on that one. But there's a lot of interesting moves going on with the company um, and its subsidiaries and its fuel side. So, you know, once we see more press releases of what's going on with the company, I think investors will have more faith that the company can be profitable in the long run. And once they have their earnings, that'll definitely show that. But I think until then, investors are kind of weary about investing in a company that's doing so much with the different sectors. Anyway, that's my synopsis of that. Tell me, you guys still invested? You guys still waiting on? What do you think the price is going to be when the shares are finally tradable of fuels? Drop a comment down below. Tell me what you think the initial price is going to be. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Like, comment, share, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.